Hey guys, how's it going? Daniel P. Riley here, author and owner of whimsyland.org literary coaching and services. For the inaugural video of my review show, Whimsical, I've chosen a fresh independent author named Donavan Walker and his first ever published book, Star Warden. It's a show of firsts here: first book, first publication, first time author, and my first video and interview. Without further ado, let's get whimsical. Now, Star Warden is available on Kindle through Amazon and only currently available in ebook format for now. I've poked Donavan repeatedly to get the physical book ready so I can order one for my shelf. And that should tell you how this review is going to go. I'll start with a quick synopsis first. Star Warden is a light novel about a hero of the same name, born Samuel Bailey from planet Earth, who, like his father Eli, travels back and forth between his home planet and this realm called Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is full of fairy people and other magical and mythical creatures. Most are human-like, though the more malevolent, monstrous things are less human in appearance, and that's on purpose. They're guarded by Kira, the celestial god of light, love, and mercy through her emissary, the Princess Kaguya, and Sam Bailey, who was given his magical gifts and sword Dawnbringer to act as paladin for the realm. As you can already tell, the Saturday morning cartoon is strong with this story. Kaguya and Sam are married, established very early in the tale, and I love that. They're a power couple. It's easy to see that they are very much in love and willing to sacrifice everything without being obnoxiously dramatic about it. There's some drama, yet it's playful and mostly lies in the comedy of the relaxed puns of Sam and the very proper etiquette of Kaguya. For the theater geeks out there, they act like a comedic duo in their banter, with Kaguya as the soft-spoken and sweet but very straight man, opposite Sam's one-liners and Earthman quips. One could almost hear the "Oh, Link" from the Legend of Zelda cartoons that grace the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. There are a cavalcade of characters sprinkled through the whole book that treat each chapter like single episodes of a TV show. This fills Ethereum with a robust environment, showcasing the adventures of Star Warden Sam and Kaguya as they travel across their world trying to help the beleaguered peoples find shelter, safety, and protection from the diabolically evil Deimos. Deimos. If ever there was a villain that needed a mustache twirl, it's Deimos. And sadly, he's wearing a helmet and armor, so he can't. What are you gonna do? Deimos is every bit the villain, from his monologuing, his oppression of the peoples of Ethereum, and subsequently turning them into mindish drones through cyber technology, and his rah-ha-ha, lightning crashing in the background attitude towards his daily observation of his world. He's the third world dictator with dangerous robotic minions, malicious beastmen, and his very own mean-spirited talking pet. He's a true villain. No smarmy gray morality. No lamenting his position as foil, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's so easy when you're evil. To badly cover Aurelius Voltaire's wonderful song. Anyway, on to the review. Star Warden gets 4 stars. I'll tell you why after you suffer through the rest of my review, for I am secretly Deimos in disguise. Star Warden is fun. It's made to be fun, and it's written like a multi-act play in the form of a light novel. Donavan delivers a blow-by-blow of action scenes that you can visualize quite easily, and peppers those delicious battles between good and evil with a charismatic and very lifelike dialogue, while being light and airy on the exposition unless absolutely necessary. Most chapters give you a relevant morsel of Ethereum as a brief first bite into the story that chapter represents. Every now and then, you enjoy a side order of reflection in the form of dreams and memories that establish the close connection between our main cast and their robust history. I should probably eat lunch. My metaphors have crossed into the cooking genre. I'll make some ramen. Ramen. Moving right along, Star Warden is built on the premise of good versus evil in its most pure form, and that shows in every moment of the book. You can feel the goodness of the protagonists. You can feel the vitriol and villainy in the antagonists. The only enigmas are what Deimos has cooked I mean created, to bring all of Ethereum to its knees, and just who or what the enchantress that gave Sam the Dawnbringer is. At least till the end. Donavan. No spoilers in the review. Plenty in the interview. Just warning you. So why not 5 stars? Simple. Donovan's not a long-form writer, and as an author myself, and a consumer of fiction in most of its forms, I thought it missed some golden opportunities to really wow me. Exposition is a fine line for an author, and Donavan erred on the side of caution by reeling it in so tightly that I lost immersion briefly. He was very quick to bring me back in, to his credit, so I'm not saying he did anything wrong, far from it. I think he stuck to his chosen format very well. I would have preferred a bit more meat to sink my imagination's teeth into. There go the food metaphors again. Let's move on. Overall, for a first-time author and a unique concept in bringing an old cartoon-style mythos into a novella format, Donavan absolutely nailed the joy, the fast-paced action, and the jokes to this feel-good, light drives back darkness tale of Star Warden. Now I'm going to be candid with you guys for a minute here, because my daughter told me to. If anybody else likes Star Warden and enjoys the Saturday morning cartoon concept of this story and likes to build weapons, I want a replica of Dawnbringer. Seriously, for real, I want one. I can add it to my Buster Sword in my closet, which I'll show you guys at some point if you want. Now, spoilers ahead, the rest of this video is my interview with Donavan Walker himself. If you liked the review but hated my horrible video skills on the interview, then slap that like button and forget the interview ever happened. No, seriously, I'm kidding. Just hit like and subscribe for more interviews with indie pub authors like myself and reviews of their work. And I'll do better on the next video. Thanks for watching. I want to welcome Donavan Walker, author of Star Warden. Say hi, Donavan.
Hello, Dan. Hello, everyone.
Real quick, before we get started with the interview, first thing I want to say, it's an awesome book.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, I've already explained earlier in this video the my review, my idea behind it, and how much I enjoyed it. But I want to hear from you. Tell me what your book's about. Tell our audience what your book
what my book is about. Well, I've got a couple answers for you. Well, in general, the book is about the story of Sir Samuel Bailey, the eponymous Star Warden, on his quest to defeat the Dark Lord Davos, joined by his wife, the lovely Princess Kaguya. And in this story, they're going to try and dispel a curse of eternal night that has fallen upon a land. But beneath the plot, beneath the characters, what Star Warden is about is a story of resilience. To quote Rocky Balboa, the world is not all sunshine and rainbows. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. But it's not about how hard you hit. It's how hard you get hit and keep moving forward, how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. And that's what Star Warden is about at its core. It's about dealing with all the pains life deals you. It's about overcoming all of this adversity, because Sam in the story is at this, well, his back is against the wall. The enemy has more numbers, has more resources. They've got him out-muscled, but he keeps going. He's personally suffered losses, but he keeps going. It is a story of resilience, because I want people to have that. I've been through tough times, and stories should uplift people, showing heroes that they're not the most powerful all the time, but they're going to keep going no matter what happened to them, either betrayal or loss, or they're just not strong enough for something. They're going to keep going until they finally get it, and they do win, because that's how winning is done.
And that's really what a hero is all about, getting knocked down, standing back up for what's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. So real quick, let's talk a little bit about Deimos. See, we talked about Sam. Let's talk a little bit about Deimos.
Ah, Deimos. He is the main villain, not antagonist, because antagonists have limits. He is the main villain of Star Warden. He is the great dictator and rules over the main setting of the book, the planet Ethereum. And was there anything specific you wanted? Because I can just tell you, he's downright evil. Well, he's downright evil. Well, he's not a fan. He's not a fan of religion at all, and he wants complete domination. Because I'm not sure if I should. Would you mind if I go into a little bit of details or no?
Go for it.
Well, see, Davos. As we will find out, he's an artificial intelligence, and as far as he believes, he is the perfect ruler. He was built to rule over people, and as far as he sees regular people, just like they want a better world, but they won't pay the blood price to get it. They'll just complain how hard it is. Well, I'm actually building the perfect world, not for them, not for. Don't misunderstand. He's not doing it for the good of other people. He's doing it because I want my perfect world. I'll have it. You guys are going to work for it. Because I am the perfect ruler. It's like he is a classic villain, unlike what you get today with all these villains with internal conflicts or attempts at gray morality and no. Skeletor or Lord Zed, there is no white in this. Completely black, completely on the side of evil. And I love writing him. I just love writing him. And I know you really hated him. If I remember a quote, you said he needs to die. He needs to die. That's what I remember you saying.
Yeah. I right out the gate, as soon as I started reading about him, absolutely 100% evil villain, not antagonist, not bad guy, evil villain.
I know. I'm proud of that because they can hate him. Like I thought he was gonna end up like they would just love to hate him, but they kind of laugh. But no, everyone so far is taking him seriously, which I actually do like. It's like yes, no comedy here. All comedy drains out when he enters the room, which I love.
Yeah, fair enough. So, where did you get the idea for these characters in the story?
Well, where did I get the idea? I had this one thought after seeing Star Wars collapse into pieces, and
I think we're losing you.
I thought, what if I could make? Oh, can you hear me still?
Yep, I got you back.
Okay, man, I hope this don't fall apart on me now, computer.
Don't worry about it.
Right. But as I was saying, I got this idea after seeing all my favorite stuff die. Like, what if I could make my own cartoon with no broadcast and standard practices restrictions, as what happened to other cartoons such as Reboot? And I thought, okay. And I thought, what if I thought there's some old properties that people aren't using. Like there's a part of the Sonic continuity no one's even touching anymore. Sega's not doing it. The Archie Sat AM stuff. And I thought, okay, I'll take some of that idea because I like that. And I like ideas from things I've liked or read or recently read, like John Carter of Mars, and try to just form this idea of a cartoon, but in prose form, since I'm not an animator and comic books are really expensive. But I can write. So I wrote, so I thought, okay, I'm going to act like it's a cartoon, as in there's going to be action, adventure. The characters may end up simple on the surface, but they're deep in their own ways, and just focus on that. I got to pretend like when I write, I pretend I only have 30 minutes, like any cartoon. I have more than that, but I try to like not waste the reader's time. Like you wouldn't waste the viewer's time if you only had 30 minutes for your show. Like that's where the idea come from. I wanted good entertainment, and I wanted to go at a good pace. And the third final reason where I got this idea is I saw a lot of Japanese anime where you go to another world, and a lot of them are boring, or if they're not boring, they have very sad characters. Like in Shield Hero, it's like, okay, So let's take the suffering of like characters like the Shield Hero, but let's have this main character like Sam still be happy, still be able to give kindness, still be heroic. He's not all cynical. He doesn't need to like be mean or worry about how much money I need to make or trust issues. Like he's the hero. He has a trusted companion, his love interest, and he has a clear goal. Unlike most of Japanese isekai. And that's really the idea in a nutshell. Just a bunch of different things I've seen I wanted to address and have fun in the process.
Can understand that completely. I actually did something similar with my own superhero novel, since I'm neither an animator nor a comic book artist myself. I wrote a superhero story, and I think we had the same reason for doing so.
Yes. If they're not going to give it to us, we got to make it ourselves.
Exactly. So, since this is your first attempt to get into like full published form with Star Warden, you put out on Amazon on a Kindle,
Yeah.
the physical copy is not ready yet.
No, I need to, besides formatting stuff, I still need to get an ISBN. So until that's solved, the physical one is delayed.
Understood. So how was the writing process for you?
Oh, that was a long process. I tried to write it like in the writing process started like, okay, I'm just gonna write everything in this one draft, like you normally would do a book. And it's like, okay, this is not working. And then I was talking to a friend of mine who also writes, but mostly as a hobby. And she basically had like these mini stories. It's basically like one or two pages for this particular part of the story, and then wrote like it's in the same characters, same setting, but a different story. And I thought that idea. So I thought that looked like a good idea. So I got this idea to write Star Warden as kind of like miniature stories, but when you put it all together, they make one big story. So it wasn't all written in one document. They were all separate documents with their own titles to act as a chapter. And if I had to go forward, I made a number two who as part of it, like part two of this story. And then I combined it together, which actually helped out because I'm not intending to write novels. I'm not a long writer. Like I like it short. I like to get to the point. I like to move on and get there. And that's just what it fits. Like that's what I wanted from Star Warden. So writing these short bursts format where I can focus on this individual chapter and not be like, oh, I still got a bunch of pages to do this and that, allows me to organize it better. So that it'll be the process for all the other books. For 2 was written that way, so it's 3 and technically 4, which was 3 earlier, but that's another story.
So one of the things I noticed when I was reading it, and I think what you were explaining there, is that each chapter, each part of Star Warden, and I'm going to assume the new volume, once you finish it, almost reads like episodes of a Saturday morning cartoon, just in back-to-back format, into a whole overarching maybe season of episodes as a story.
That's it. Because it just, okay, I know what we're doing in this. It just tells me doing this chapter. Trying to just write it as a whole book didn't work for me. So, but imagine it like I was writing an episode of a TV show, despite it being completely prose, actually helped.
Yeah.
Which I've heard advice that you shouldn't do that, but it's like, yeah.
Well, you can make an argument either way. I mean, people talk about the Lester Dent format, which is a short series of stories. I like to refer to it less as the Lester Dent format, more as the Arthur Conan Doyle format. Because Sherlock Holmes, like there were like maybe 8,000 words at a shot for a long time, and then you get into some of the longer full-length adventures, but most of them were short stories that he published in magazines. So you can do it either way, I think, and it would still result in the same epic, awesome format.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite questions to ask anybody when they finish and publish a book is, did you learn anything about yourself becoming an author?
Oh, I did. And surprisingly, it wasn't about the writing process. I learned I was Christian.
Aha, that's
Like that
interesting.
was like it was the weirdest thing. Like during my entire writing, I felt like a need to just, well, because at the time I was an atheist, and I was like, I felt a need to repent. Like, no other thing, even going to church, ever felt like in the past ever felt that way. But when I was writing, something just clicked, and things started to make sense faith wise for me. It's like weird. Like writing is like is like my God given purpose. Like I could be wrong on that, but considering how that epiphany came when I was writing the first book, I don't think I'm wrong. I could be, but I'm having a hard time doubting that.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
coincidences like that are rare.
That's
I don't think
true.
it's a coincidence.
Well, it's really what matters to you inside, and a lot of other authors have said similar things. Artists in general, there's sort of a semi-consensus among scholars that any type of creative, whether it be physical art like painting or even photography or the literary word, even musicians, in order to be creative, you have to sort of reach the divine, they say. And when you have that, when you reach the divine with your particular art form, you feel its presence, and it's hard to deny, even for an atheist. I think I personally am Christian as well, have been for a large portion of my life in sections, you know. But there was a period where I was looking for alternatives, but then I came back to it, and I came back to it very deeply as soon as I started writing as well. So I think you're onto something there, and a lot of us have gone through that uh, sort of crucible, which is
Uh,
interesting.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Though does fit in the story. I mean, Sam's the paladin, and
Mhm.
Deimos is basically having state enforced atheism. So in a way, it's kind of perfectly fitting. It's
Well,
like they're just
they also encompass the old mythological concept of warring brothers, because they're sort of um, in that. I don't want to spoil things for your readers, but I'm hoping that they've read the book before they get too deep into this review.
yeah.
But if they do, the fact that Deimos is sort of the spawn of himself in a way. I don't want to spoil anything too
Mhm.
much in the book.
Yeah.
And he's also the reason for Sam's transformation into the Star Warden for the most part. The true Deimos, I mean,
Yeah.
because of the origins of both characters, is that they're almost like the mythological concept of the Warring Brothers, in that they both were spawned from the same sort of wickedness, and one went the other way, and now they've clashed, and it's pretty amazing. It's as almost a Cain and Abel story.
Huh. I did not realize. I wouldn't have thought that myself. So wait, are you saying
Right?
that both Deimoses are like Cain and Abel, or Sam and
No,
Deimos
I'm
are Cain and
saying
Abel?
I'm saying Sam and Deimos too are kind of Cain and Abel in or mythological the mythological warring brothers, Thor and Loki. Um, there are other examples, but I can't think of any more off the top of my head. Thor and Loki are probably the most popular and relevant, you
Yeah.
know, that I could think of culturally. But yeah, because Deimos, the original, both created the AI.
Hmm.
That is Deimos, the villain of the
Yeah.
story, and what he did to Sam. That when his family was attacked, the original Deimos did to Sam when his family was attacked, was sort of the origin story. So Deimos won. I know it's going to sound a little weird to say, but Deimos won, birthed both of them because he set both of them on their paths, one constructed and the other attacked in a way.
Wait, original Deimos. Wait, I was trying to see like they were both born like. No, Deimos too was the one that attacked Sam. That Daniels at the time was the AI.
Fair. I'm just saying the idea
Yeah.
is because he constructed Deimos 2, who and in turn attacked Sam. It sets the two of them on their paths, and they came from the same.
Oh yeah. In a way, because the original Deimos also fought Eli, who was Sam's father.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's almost like they became the warring brothers of the mythological concept. And that was my interpretation of it. It may not have been your intent, but that I totally inferred that and went, huh.
I do like hearing theories from people who read my work. So, yeah, I see it. Like there are biblical aspects in Star Wars deliberately well. One of them is in Sam's name. His full name is Samuel Bailey. Samuel as in the prophet, which is why his dad's name is also Eli. And Warden, in a way, is connected to the judges, which Sam was. And Israel was oppressed by a foreign power, in this case, Deimos, who, while born on Ethereum, represents a foreign idea, since he has a republic, not a kingdom, and is completely against the native culture. So those elements were also incorporated in there as well. So I can see where you would get other biblical elements from that, if not that specific one.
Totally. That's pretty awesome. So move on here a little bit, because I have another fun question for you. This one is, what was your favorite part to write? Warden Volume 1.
Storming the castle, that chapter. Or chapter 16, if I'm remembering correctly. When Deimos, but the favorite part aside from getting Deimos' backstory and his reasonings, one specific line stands out. When he says to Kaguya, "You pampered, saccharine brat." It is my favorite Deimos line. I know when you were, he did help edit it. Dan helped edit it, and you said, you should change that line because you saccharine earlier. I just changed the other saccharine because I could not imagine Deimos not calling her a saccharine brat. Like, it just fits so much in his character. When I hear, like, I imagine he had a voice, it would just sound too good and too in character for me to remove it. But that is my favorite part. That entire chapter is my favorite part because I feeling to the audience. Like, normally if you see in other products, it takes like a super long time for the villain's backstory motivation to get revealed, and then something dumb and sympathetic like Hordak and Netflix Shira. But here in Star Wars, I was like, yes, this guy is evil. There's a reason behind his evil. So you can't just say, oh, he's just a mindless, black-hatted, one-dimensional villain. No, he has reasons. It's just they're entirely selfish reasons. You don't need to like relate to them or understand them yourself. He understands them. He's not doing this because it's good. He's doing it because he finds it to be logical, and he enjoys just being a garden variety asshole. He kind of does. Wait, kind of? No, that's an understatement. He really does.
Yeah, you can tell he really does. And that's interesting to me too. The concept of a selfish artificial intelligence is really fun to me.
Yeah, well, he's selfish because in a way that's how he was partly programmed. It's like you didn't give him morals, you didn't give him ethics. You just said, do this efficiently. And you said, make utopia efficiently. Like, what's utopia? And if you can't define that, which is downright impossible to define utopia due to how different it is between different people, well, you're going to end up with very selfish people. I mean, look at the Soviet Union. That was a country built on a utopian ideology. And we got what? Blood, death, skulls, all that. Why? Because selfish people would take over and could just use it's for the peace, for the workers, for the classless paradise. And it's like, that's just what Deimos is. He's kind of, well, I don't say it in story because I don't want to date it, but he is in a way kind of the communist, the 20th century utopian dictators, or modern day China.
Fair enough. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like, he's selfish because you built him that way, you fool. And now he's got self-awareness. So of course it kind of ends up that way. It's like, so he's not just I'm evil for evil's sake, as some might criticize Deimos to be. He does have reasonings. It's just like it's not born from like I'm trying to do good, but my actions are terrible. No, he's evil because after all the interpretation of what he was given, that's just the logical outcome.
Yeah, it's almost like he, after processing through the best way to complete his goal, he determined that evil was the only pathway to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely rings true in the way that you write him. So that's for sure. Now, the flip side of that question is my next one, which is what was your least favorite part to write?
Oh, that's a hard one because I really like writing my book. But my least favorite part is kind of, I mean, see, it is really difficult. I think it was kind of the ending, the wrapping up part, mostly because I didn't want to be over, but also because it was the hardest to get to, like in a way. Like the other chapters I could get to, but this one was like, okay, so I need to answer this. How long was there? How, like, there was a bunch of things about the ending that was just, I needed to wrap it up in a way that, okay, there's gonna be future stories, but I needed to come off like it's self-contained because
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone's gonna want to read the next one. So I want to give them a complete, full episode basically before I go moving on. Like, not everything is solved. Deimos isn't dead. It's just this story has been wrapped up. This gone. Like that's I think that was my least favorite part. Mostly like, how do you do that without sequel begging? Because unless I know I promised a sequel, but just in case anything happened, I better make sure it doesn't come off that way. You know what I mean?
right. No, you want to wrap everything up as best as you can and still leave the opportunity for more if your audience ends up liking it enough.
Yeah.
You want to keep doing it. That's how I do that with all of my stuff. You know, even Tales of Halcyon, I finished it out and still left an opportunity for more later on.
All right. I need to read those books
Well,
when I get a chance.
I'd appreciate it, but even I recognize that was my first book, second book, and third book. So it's not nearly as good as G Said I, in my opinion. But it's your first publication. You'll notice things when you go to write your second one that you'll be like, I did this in the first book, but I think I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It's always a process. Live and learn.
Yep.
I'm planning on going back sometime in the near future myself and doing a revision of Tales of Halcyon, and I think I'm going to take advantage of Amazon's hardback and do a hardback compendium of it when I do that revision with a whole new cover and everything.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So you've sort of already answered my next question, which was going to be, are you planning on doing another Star Warden, which we obviously know, yes, you are, and you're already writing it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah, because I've basically written what I considered season 1 of Star Warden already, because some of it's on the blog. Like, I had a blog right there. I put it up there. So I like, okay, let's see if anyone's even interested in the idea. And Fiona Wolf, shout out to you. You are like biggest cheerleader. She's amazing. And she has a work called Uplift Protocol. You should read that too. But yeah, so
definitely
two has basically been written. I'm just trying to clean it up myself, and get rid of anything that doesn't need to be there immediately, which there is a lot actually.
Is volume 2 your volume 2 blog on public on the internet?
Yeah, the blog. Yeah, on my blog. Basically, volume 2
What's the address in case somebody wants to check it out?
Okay, it's called the Heroic Chronicle, and I can get the link really quickly. Wait, do I like? I give it to you, but I don't know where. Oh, there's the chat function. Okay, let me just get it. I do not use Zoom very much.
Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yeah. All right. Here. There it is. All right, there. All right, here's the link. All right, that is the link to the blog. You can basically read an earlier draft of the first book. Look, the second this draft of the second, third, and technically book 2.5, which came out of nowhere unexpectedly, but like, oh, this is a good idea.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that, yeah, those are just the earlier stuff. So basically, it's already been written. I'm just cleaning it up. So hopefully, I can get 2 books out this year. The volume 1 and volume 2.
Very nice. It's a good idea, I think. And so are you planning on, or have you given any thought to writing something other than Star Wars in the future?
Yes, I do. I was given a challenge to write you've heard of the Lost Continent of Mu?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah, well, I was given a challenge to write like the story in that kind of setting, another sword and planet adventure story, kind of like what Star Warden is, but maybe closer to John Carter in formula. So that is one of my plans. That's only in the concept stage right now, and I don't know. I may stick to writing more of going to another world stories because I do not want Japan to ruin that idea. Just like, oh, and then in the future, it's like no one's gonna read Sword and Planet because like, oh, so it's like isekai. It's like, nah, no, there's no harems in this story. There's no harems in Star Wars. And I promise you that. None.
It's true. There are no harems and none of that stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, Sam and Kaguya are cute, but they're not in your face about their relationship. They stand up for each other, they support each other, but there's really no overt sexual theme involved. There's a little tease to that their relationship is like any other humans, obviously, or human and alien in Kaguya's case. But that's one of the things that I thought was really cool, was that you were able to showcase that they had a strong, supportive and loving relationship without having to lean on overt sexuality or borderline eroticism like so many authors have to do these days in order to do any sort of relationship, which I think is a bit bizarre.
Oh, that answers the question I had for you. I was like, whoo, I did like, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a few. So if you could, here's a little curveball question that's fun. I like to think about this a lot, like I just mentioned with Tales of Halcyon. If you could go back to pre-publishing right now, before Star Warden went out, would you? And would you do anything differently? Would you change anything about the story?
The only thing I would go back to do is like, if I could just go back and have more time, I'd like, okay, let's prepare a hard copy immediately. And I would put in one line to explain something in the ending, which is like, I don't think anyone's really going to notice, but it's like, oh man, maybe I should put that one line in there that the sword Dawnbreaker got tossed away. I was wondering, oh wait, is someone going to tell me, hey, wait, why didn't Sam just use that magic? And it's like, well, I mean, there's reasons why he doesn't use Dawnbreaker's magic a lot all the time. Because if you've read and if you've seen Red, you know what it is. It's debilitating to him. Yeah. Because it's very powerful. But there's also like, I should have said it wasn't in his hand because, oh, what if he because I thought, oh, he could just use it as a desperation maneuver against Deimos, which, I mean, that's an idea that comes up. I personally don't think that's a good idea because of how debilitating it is. But it's like, I should put a line in there saying that the sword was tossed far away, at least to remove the idea of that question coming up. Like, I think, like, maybe it's too small and no one's really going to notice it unless I bring it up. But if I just put it in there, just put it at ease. But yeah, that's what I would just really do.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I know I have a little mental exercise for myself that I do constantly throughout my day, where I just go back and revisit little sections in my head. And it helps me train for my next novel, my next project, to better get my points across, better describe things. I'm constantly running new scenarios based on old projects. And some stuff that I haven't even published yet. So that's why I wanted to ask that question, just to see if I was the crazy one or if other authors pull that off too.
No, trust me. Chapter that, like, I'll let you know, chapter 16, that whole Dable section had been rewritten so many times. I'm like, I need to convey his motives, but how not to do it so, not ham-fistedly, so awkwardly. So yeah, that went through a bunch of revision and rethinking. Yeah, you're not alone on that. Yeah, I want to make it the best I can. And that leaves me to second guess myself a lot.
Absolutely. The one Western I'm working on right now, Rise of the Patriot, I've gone through. This is the third version of it, because each one I got halfway through the novel and went, no, it's just not holding.
Yeah,
I got to try something different. And so I kept going, and now this one I'm on. I think this is going to be the one that sticks, but it took a while to get there. And you have to do what feels right in your head for the story, and you have to be willing to throw it out if it's not working.
Yep.
Which is kind of a sad thing in my
opinion.
So any advice you would give as a first-time self-publishing author to other people who might be interested in self-publishing and becoming authors themselves?
Right. Just write, and take any YouTube advice you get with a grain of salt. Like, not just a grain, a barrel, a nice big, maybe medium-sized barrel of salt. Because, but more importantly, just write. That is the biggest advice I can give anyone. Just write it, because you're not gonna publish it until it's finished. And you don't, like, I know people say, like, get an audience out there. Like, okay, that's kind of important, but the most important thing to do is write it first. Once it's written, then you can improve it. Then you can worry about getting art, but write first, and write a lot. Read a lot too, but also write. Because because while reading is good research, you don't want to just copy them wholesale. And sometimes you don't even, you can just, instead of just, oh, you should read outside your genre. Sometimes don't do that. Sometimes it's best to, like, the genre deeply and see what they twist and turn to other variations the author have done in that same space, so that you can make your own. Because Star Warden is basically just a lot of same things in the adventure genre, just my creative variations on it. It's not unique or original. I like this thing. I'm gonna put this behind. I'm gonna try this and that. So, the most important thing is to just write it. You'll figure it out as you go. And if you need to plan out a bit more, do that. If you don't like writing outlines, then just write and discover it, and maybe discover you may need an outline or not. But write. Just write it. Nothing else. Just write it.
Yeah, definitely. First things first, write the damn book.
Yeah, which apparently the writing community on Twitter doesn't do, except tweets.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, man. Yes, that was one of the things that I had struggled with when I first wrote The Wizard's Mistake, Tales of Alzion Book 1, was I agonized for months after I finished it on whether or not I was ready for it to be published, whether or not it was good enough, whether or not it would sell copies. And I really stopped paying attention to the fact that I had written a freaking novel and just started nitpicking every single moment of the whole book. And I finally just said to myself one morning, just press continue, just do it. Yeah. And then I had to sit back and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm an author now. It's official. It's out there in the world.
I know, I had the same feeling.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. It's a cool feeling, and that just it made me want to keep going.
Yeah.
Now I'm working on a slate of 4 books this year. I've already put out G Sedai. Legacy of Heroes is done, and with my editor, I'm writing Rise of the Patriot now, and it's only April.
Yeah.
So it's wild stuff.
No, once you get writing and then you see that you actually did complete a full story, like you're gonna get that feeling. You're gonna be scared how people will react, but remember, you did achieve something. You wrote it. Like that's why that's the best advice. You like that's an achievement in and of itself. You wrote it to completion. Congratulations.
Yep. Take that victory lap.
Yep.
It's worth it, and you need it.
Yeah, I'm still on the volume 1 victory lap. Like, woo! I did it.
Well, depending on who you ask, launch takes between 3, 6, and 18 months. So just enjoy the ride for what it is. Trust me.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've got a couple more minutes here, and the final question is, do you have any questions for me?
I did. You kind of answered it, but I wanted your detailed thoughts on it.
All right.
Did you buy Sam and Kaguya's relationship?
Absolutely.
You did. Okay. What did it for you? What exactly did it that got you like, okay, you are behind this couple 100%?
Well, to be, I guess, honest and critical, when she was first introduced in the beginning, I didn't quite take to it immediately. And the reason I didn't quite take to it immediately, I think, was just in your writing style, because she is very formal and Sam is not. He's your consummate hero character, but he's also a bit silly with the catchphrases and the almost sarcastic plays on words and witticisms. And it didn't hit me at first that their relationship was concrete, because she's very prim and proper and he's very jokey, and she sort of seems like she rolls her eyes a little bit when he starts making jokes. and I was like, okay, so I'm getting the sense that there's a little bit of odd couple involved here, because in the way that they are. But when you did the background story about the icy and and the bullies and everything, that was where it hit, because then I realized that the reason that she's so okay, whatever, Sam, but still loving him regardless, is because they've known each other all practically all their lives. And and then later on, you even explained through the story how she became so enamored with him in a romantic sense, not just in a friendship sense. And so by the end of the book, I was like, yeah, I totally get it, and they rock as a couple. They're great. It's just that first impression, I went, I'm not sure how this is going to play out.
You have no idea how even critical that's really to me, because that was, if I had to say what was the scariest part of my writing, that was it. Because I wanted to avoid will they, won't they. I wanted to avoid the chase. Okay, let's have an established couple. They be cute. They work well together. And boom, we can get focused on the action. So it's like, I always thought people like they weren't going to buy it because it's like, oh, it's too idealistic, or like there's not enough drama in there as you get in modern books. And I thought, okay, maybe people will just like it for the not drama, or maybe they won't, because I'm not an expert in these things. I just draw from a lot of couples I've seen on TV that have worked, and just did my best at it. So I don't know how people will respond to that.
Well, I'm sure you'll find out as folks do reviews.
Yeah, but I did want, well, so far, like one, like Fiana's review is like she's totally behind the couple, which I like. So, and you're behind them, even though you're like you were kind of critical, but it's like, yes, I did. I convinced you. I did my job properly.
Well, when I personally, when I read, I visualize. So when I visualize Sam, I visualized this consummate sort of hero character, but because I'm older. Yeah, I had a couple of flashbacks to the old 80s, 90s cartoons. Like I said, it reminded me of Saturday morning cartoon. Yes. And in those stories, a lot of the hero characters were influenced by modern culture, so they were kind of snarky and full of wit and bad catchphrases and one-liners and things like that most wouldn't really grasp. Like I think back to the old Legend of Zelda cartoon for Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yes, I know the show.
Yeah, with oh Link, and so I actually kind of felt that. I felt like Kaguya had this sort of Zelda quality of being aristocratic and sort of highfalutin and noble, and
Yeah.
Sam was more country bumpkin, but in a modernized American way.
Yeah.
So I thought it was good that she was going to be more, oh Sam, silly Sam, like. I don't quite understand the joke you're trying to make here, but it's nice that you tried to do it and make me smile. And but the more I read into the adventure that you had written in the book itself, every single little adventure that they went on painted a portrait of a couple that truly had each other's back, even if they were very different in personality.
Yes. Okay. My second question for you is this: do you have? Is there any answers you're looking forward to in Star Wars Volume 2? Is there anything specific you want to see or answered, or any theories you think will be completed? I don't know.
I want to know more about the sword and the power and Sam's ability to eventually master it, I hope. And what the heck was up with the transformation thing at the end there?
What happened? They was at the end.
Yeah, I want to know. Yeah, that was the big cliffhanger for me, and I told you that when we first talked about the book.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened? What is that? What did he turn into? I'm looking forward to hearing more about that in further volumes, definitely.
Sweet. Okay. All right. So that's that. I'm once again. I'm glad that you really like the book and you want to see more. That like I've done my job properly.
Yeah, each of your support cast characters had very unique personalities, and taking the newer style in dialogue where there's not a whole lot of he says and she says, it was easy to differentiate between the two because you were able to write them with such vivid differences. For the most part, there were a couple of points that I pointed out to you where it got a little difficult to differentiate between the One Night character and Sam, but for the most part, in the spread of the entire book, you kept each character very clearly defined in dialogue. So it was easy to follow and they were fun to get to know. And I'm hoping some of them make further appearances in the next books. And, all in all, it was a really fun read. And I was pretty grateful that I got the opportunity to help you clean it up before you put it out.
And this is my debut novel, so it's like, wow, I really got a good start out of the gate.
Sure did. It's a lot of fun, and it's a unique thing. I've not seen anybody try to take on novelization of Saturday morning cartoons like this.
I'm going to work hard to keep up the quality in the other books. This will start strong and end strong, as long as I have something to say about it.
Awesome. Glad to hear it.
Yes.
Well, Donavan Walker, Star Warden Volume 1. It was great to talk to you. Hopefully we can do this again with Star Warden Volume 2, my friend.
Yes. I hope so.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you for all the praise and the criticisms you've given me.
That's what we're here for. If we're not helping each other get better, what are we really doing?
Yeah. While having fun at the same time.
Exactly.
Yes.
Gotta be fun. All right. Thank you, my friend. Take care of yourself.
You too.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.